All right, week 3 invitational prep. Let's go ahead and take a look at your sequences here. And the first one we're going to take a look at is the blind cross. So let's go back a little bit and look at the timing here on your blind cross as you come over number 2. Now the timing of this is very, very nice. You had a great send on jump 1, allowing you to get ahead. And as we go through in slow-mo here, what you're going to see is the timing that we're looking for, which is to Q2 as the dog lands. So right there, you're looking over the right shoulder, right arm is down, presumably saying jump. As you see him approach 2, you go ahead and begin that blind nice and early. So here you are transitioning that left shoulder coming up. You've lost eye contact with him to begin the side change over the new shoulder. And then right here, you can see very, very nice reconnect over that left shoulder. So your left hand is down, you're looking over the left shoulder, and what you'll notice is he has not yet even taken off for number 2. All right, so when we look at timing, very, very nice. There's no doubt, you can see he lifts, no doubt that he should be on your left side and recalling over to your left side. But what we do want to try to look at and improve a little bit is your location of the blind cross, trying to get a little bit better line on 2 to 3. So one of the things you'll see here is if we're looking for that direct line, 2 to 3, so that's really the line that we would like the dog to take, you're going to see here that he is jumping out in that direction. Okay, he's not really making that bend to the left. There's actually quite a bit of distance there between him and the upright that maybe he could eliminate and tighten up the turn. But a lot of that is because of your location. So if we look at where that line should be, you would then want to be just on the other side of that. But instead you went a little bit deep, drove through and got out here on this pocket. You can see how far over on the right side of this bar you are. And what that's then causing you and him to do is you're both then landing and having to push back in on that jump. So I think if you would have stayed a little bit tighter, not gone quite as deep in the pocket, you wouldn't have the landing. Again, I mean, at this point you can see he's headed straight on out there. You wouldn't have the landing, and then you'll see here you begin to move in and have to redirect and push in to the left on jump number 3. So timing of the blind, very nice. Location, I would try to stay closer on his line, not go so deep into the pocket. Okay? So the second one we're going to look at is your front cross. All right, again, starting with a nice send on 1, and now we're rotating into the front cross. Very similar to the blind, you had great timing on this. All right, so send on 1, you're moving downstream, dog is landing and approaching 2. Right here, you get that left arm up and you're beginning that shoulder rotation. All right, you're facing him, there's your plant. We got one more plant on the right foot, and by now what we really want to be doing is already pushing out and moving through that jump. So you can see he's lifting, so he's already airborne off the ground here, and you are still a little bit mid front cross here. You finish planting with this right foot before you push out. So the steps were pretty good. We would just like them to be a little bit sooner. So right now we would already like you opening up and rotating out of it. And here you wait till he lands to be pushing out. So again, not bad. Maybe could clean that up and be a little bit earlier on the front cross. Location looked much better on that than what we saw with the blind. All right. I do think with that jump there, you just got a little bit ahead of him, a little disconnected. I can't tell whether or not you did say jump or not. So right here looks good. And then you just get up there, you can see you turn your shoulders, and right when you turn your shoulders, you're already facing out towards that last jump, he just turns and comes right with you. Given that this was the end of the sequence, no reason to be quite that far ahead. Make sure your shoulders stay forward, and then once you have commitment, you go ahead and leave. All right. So I think you redid the front cross just to make sure you got that last jump there. And then here you wait on him a little bit through the 270, shoulders stay forward. So let's go back and look at that. You had much better shoulder position. So look here. All right, look at your shoulders here where you are keeping them parallel with the jump, facing straight towards that jump until commitment, which is different than what we saw previously where you were rotating. Now he's committing, and then we're going ahead and turning and following up with that last jump. Okay, so very nice there. So now we have the 2 rear crosses, which you mentioned doing for a little bit of extra practice because you've had some trouble with the rears. And one of the big things that I noticed, a huge problem on these rear crosses that I noticed on both reps, this one and the next one, is as you're approaching jump 3, you're actually wanting to move the opposite direction of where you're going. This happens a lot for people, but you're running into jump 3 and actually pulling left before you make that motion to the right. So let's watch your footwork here. Right here, you're already planning left. So you're running towards the left wing of the jump. All right. So if you're running towards the left wing, he should not be preparing for the turn to the right. I mean, look how far over you are. And now the front feet are coming off for the jump. See, look at that, oh, right there, that big plant over to the left. He's ready to go. He's ready to take off. And it's not until he jumps, so he's now airborne, and you have just started your motion to the right. So I do question with the little hand flick that you're doing here if maybe you're not cueing those rear crosses a little bit more with your hand, which is concerning because you are behind him. He's going to have a hard time seeing that. If you are showing this motion to the left as he's approaching 3, I would want the dog to then anticipate turning to the left as well. So what we're going to want to look to improve is as you come through here, driving him in front of you and actually showing motion back to the right to help prepare him for that turn to the right. All right, and you'll do it on both reps. This one, it's hard for me to see if you did that or not, just because of the camera angle. But if we go through on the second front, let's slow it down right here. You're coming over jump 2, which is good, and now you're moving left, you're moving left, you're moving left. He's taking off, and then you're pushing into the right. So I'd like to see a little bit earlier lateral motion to the right. Now I'm going to pause for just a moment because I want to take a look at these last 2 jumps. So you have done this sequence 4 times, and of the first 3, and I'm not including the one where he went around this jump, he placed 3 strides between these last 2 jumps. It wasn't until this last rep where he only places 2 strides in. So let's watch this over the jump. So we get nice extension, which is great. So there he's landing. So we're not going to count that. We get 1 stride here, 1, 2 right there, and then take off. The reason I bring this up is if he truly is capable of doing those last 2 jumps with 2 strides, then all of the other reps where he was placing in 3 is going to be costing you time and efficiency. So take off, hit, 1, 2, take off. Really nice striding. So go back and take a look at those previous sequences and see what he's doing. You'll see he lands, and on all of those others, 3 strides. So if he's capable of doing it in 2, we really want to push for the 2 strides instead of the 3. So I question if maybe you didn't do this one first and maybe just videoed them in a different order where he was driving and more extended, or if in fact you yourself were running more assertively through those last jumps. All right, so challenge sequences here. All right, coming around. First thing I want to look at is your cueing right here on 3 to 4. So if we go back just a little bit, here he's taking off. Now, if you do not know the sequence, if I was just observing this and jumping as your dog at this point of takeoff, all right, front feet have just lifted on the ground, I don't see a lot about what you're doing that cues the jump behind you. You're looking over your left shoulder, your left arm is out, and your motion is moving in this direction. So if I was the dog, I would look at possibly going out towards this jump, or if there were a jump straight ahead, you know, sitting there, I might anticipate going straight out in this direction. So at takeoff, there's really nothing to indicate this jump behind you. I mean, quite frankly, he should not be looking to go behind you. So I would like the rotation on number 4 to happen a little bit sooner. So he's airborne. Now you're beginning to rotate, but it's not until right here that you've got that turn, and he's already landed. All right, so he's going to cut back a little bit here. The other thing I question on this, and I don't know him too well, but are you giving too many turning cues on number 4? Because he really shortens his stride, and you're giving a lot of turning cues. You're facing him. You have the outside arm up. You're making the direct eye contact, and we get a lot of, I can see a little bit of barking there and the shortening of the strides. Look how close he is coming to the bar. Given what we talked about on the last sequence with the striding on the last 2 jumps, I wonder if maybe this isn't too many turning cues towards him. So what I would look at doing is coming through on this front cross and actually going ahead and completing it, and then just doing this as a forward send. Again, I don't know him real well, but it might be worth something to consider. Lots of turning cues here. It does result in a nice tight turn, but I wonder if we bled off too much speed along the way. And then nice ending straight out on the last part. The last one you do here is the curl to the inside. Really nice execution. You're coming around 1, 2, 3. Right as he's taking off 4, 3, right arm comes up. Nice decel, beautiful wrap. And then out around the 270. Little bit of shaping coming in on that last line. So a few things to think about. Otherwise, nicely done.